Hi there, I'm Rachel and I want to talk about my story at the Manchester Arena attack, and it's probably the most real thing that I have ever witnessed in my life. And I guess you always think that you'll never be that person to be in a situation like that, but it does happen. There's so much on the news, and I mean not just in England where we are, I mean all over the world, and a lot of it isn't, I guess it isn't all true, and it's making a lot of people believe that the whole thing was staged or it wasn't real, and I can tell you now it was real. I don't know why anyone would ever want to lie about that. So I'm just going to tell you the way it happened and the way I saw it and the way I felt everything and that. So Ariana had finished one song. She had gone off stage to get changed. The lights from the stage were still flashing around all the arena, which meant we all knew she was going to come back out. She'd also not sang Dangerous Woman on her Dangerous Woman tour, so we all knew that she was going to come back out and sing that song. So it wasn't even like the concert should have ended and it run over because we wanted an encore, because in all honesty there was no one shouting Ariana's name. We were all just screaming and waiting for her to come back on, which she already knew she was going to do. So she came back out, she sang the song, and then she left to the stage right, if you're looking at the stage from the audience. Once she'd left the stage, the song continued to play a little bit through the speakers, but she was no longer singing, she was no longer on the stage. That was it was over. That bit of Dangerous Woman music finished, the house lights came on, the stage lights went off, and then there was just generic leaving music on, which was still Ariana Grande's music, but it was just coming through the speakers as well. I had just finished filming the last of Dangerous Woman, and then I had my camera around my neck, and I'd stopped filming and I'd put the cap back on the lens, and within literally a few seconds of me doing that, there was a massive bang, and if you face away from the stage, it came from the back right hand stairwell, and everyone in the arena everyone straight away looked at this right stairwell, and everyone kind of paused for just a second before the people on the stairs and at the top of the stairs started screaming and running down to the floor level, which is where I was sat, and everyone who was sat left and right of the stairs completely just scattered. It completely split, and people was climbing over the seats to get away, and in all honesty at that point no one knew in that arena what had just happened through those doors in that foyer, but I think everyone just assumed the worst, and I guess there was right to do so. So because the screaming started and the running, it had such a knock-on effect on the whole arena, and everybody started doing the same. No one knew what to do, so I guess they just followed the crowd. There was only probably a handful of people that got through those doors at the top that then turned around and had to run back down and potentially saw the straightaway aftermath of that explosion. Other than that, everyone else in the arena had not seen this, and I was not 100% sure what had happened. And in all honesty, my first thought was the stairs had collapsed. And it wasn't until this chaos erupted that I possibly could think that it was an explosion, it was a bomb, it was someone, it was a terrorist attack. Because there's no way I would have ever thought that someone would want to attack small children. But there are people out there, and I think I normally just like to ignore the terrible things in life and pretend they don't happen, and I don't think people can do that. I certainly cannot do that anymore. It's not the right thing. If everyone just ignores it and doesn't do anything about it, it's never going to end. It's just going to continue. And I think this is opened my eyes to what could happen when going somewhere that you really love. When I was in the arena, when the chaos started and everybody was running and screaming and there was people running into me, I stayed where I was because I was in such disbelief that could have been a bomb, that could have been an explosion at the other side of those doors at the top. So while everyone was running to get to the exits, to leave the arena, you normally have to go back up the stairs and onto the corridor that loops round the outside of the arena. But because no one could go up, you could only go through the 5 exits that was on the bottom floor that had been open for people to get through. And I'm pretty sure most of you have seen the videos of when the explosion happened, of that one girl she's actually sat a few rows behind me, when she just happens to have her camera still on from the filming of the show, and she catches that bang in it, and then you do see it, you do see everyone run, and then her camera shakes and she's trying to get out of there, and she has no idea what's going on. She does not have time to film what she's doing. But I think people's reactions, it made it worse. It made people get hurt even more. It split people up from people they was with. So there was young girls alone with no one to guide them. And I mean, you could go to this concert without an adult if you was aged 12 or over. So there was girls, like in my row there was groups of 2 girls that had just gone as friends that was as young as 12. And some of them, it could have been their first concert, especially to be without an adult there. And so obviously their first thing was just to follow what everyone else is doing, and it was so dangerous because there's also another video of girls climbing over the barriers of the side of the stairs. They were too high up that when they climbed over they had to jump down, and they was jumping on people trying to escape. And that exit is the exit I finally left through. But because I'm 21, because I was on my own, I already knew I was responsible for my actions and my decisions. So I already had some kind of I don't know, it's as if I had the maturity to think through what I was doing, my actions. And I didn't run with everybody else. I didn't get caught up in the crowd. And so I continued to film. My camera was still around my neck. I continued to film what was going on. At this time, I was on the phone. I was ringing my boyfriend, who was outside the arena waiting for me. We was trying to speak. I was explaining what was going on. So the footage I've put on YouTube is muted because you can hear me talking to my boyfriend on the phone. You can hear me talking to other people around me. You can hear me saying everyone needs to be calm. And that's why the camera is all over the place, because I was trying to pick up my stuff from my seat, my coat, my bag and everything, while trying to be on the phone and trying to film what was going on, and it was out of focus, and I tried to focus it with one hand and I didn't. It was just all over the place, because in all honesty it wasn't about getting a good recording of what was going on. I was just recording the most real life thing I've ever been in. And once all the chaos had finished, as in the immediate chaos, when people had to slow down because you couldn't get out of the doors quick enough, we was getting told to stop by the people, to stop panicking by the people who worked there. In my video I have footage of an American guy off Ariana's tour. I don't know if he was part of the management's team. He came on the stage with a mic and told everyone there was no problem, and everyone to stay calm, which was the right thing to do, because there's no way he could come on stage and gone, "There's been an explosion, run." That would have hurt so many more people. At that point, he didn't know. He did not know what was at the top of those stairs. He could only presume the worst. But he did the best thing he could and to try to reassure people and calm people down, to stop people making more mistakes and hurting more people and breaking people up. And eventually everyone did, we got ushered out, and I stopped filming as I was leaving, and we got out onto the road, and there was crowds of people, there was people crying, and there was just, you looked up the street, you looked down the street, there was ambulances, there was police cars, there was flashing lights, there was speakers on the outside of the building that was telling us, caution, get away from this area, you need to leave. And it was just on repeat, and there was ambulances racing by us, like dangerously racing by us while we were on the road. They were coming through on that road, they were trying to get to the other side where they knew people had been hurt. And when I came out of the arena, I filmed what was going on at first on my camera, and when I look back through it now, there's a young girl on her own crying on the phone, and I did not realise it at the time. I did not realise that she needed help, and I then chose to film the same thing on my phone instead, so I could put it online sooner than I could have done getting home back to Leeds with the camera and putting it on my computer. I wanted people to see what was going on because I had no idea what was going on, and I feel so very, very lucky and so very grateful that for whatever reason I bought the ticket for the seat where I did, and I went on my own. I didn't take anyone else with me, and I didn't have to put anyone else through that being inside. And I mean, of course, my boyfriend was there, but he was on the outside of the building, and I'm so thankful that he wasn't stood close enough to the explosion, and he was safe. And when there was no signal when I got outside, and I was trying to ring, and I was on my own with no one to contact, and I had no idea what street I was on. There was no street sign to say what street name it was. There was just signs saying Printworks one way, the train station another. And eventually I got in touch with my boyfriend, and he was like, just walk with your shoulder, like your side, walk with the arena on your left hand side, and he'll walk with the arena on his right. And eventually we met up at the bottom of this hill. And we were safe, and we walked back to the car where we parked it near the train, the outdoor, the train line that was outside. We parked it there, and we got in and we got out, and we got out of the centre of Manchester. And I mean, it took a while because there was so many roads closed off, there was so many people, and I mean, on the way back to the car, there was all the arena staff were outside. They was all deciding where they was meant to meet. And I'm pretty sure we saw like Ariana's dancers in with the crowd, stuck at the side of the road, and at this point I think that Ariana was in her tour bus at the gate, but the gates were closed, and she was in there, and she was safe, but I don't think she knew what was going on. She was backstage when she heard it, and I can only imagine the guilt she feels, because I feel it too, even though we didn't cause it. But you still feel guilty for being okay, for being safe, for not being hurt, and for coming out the best you could of a situation like that. You feel guilty to be happy, to go do something now, and now it's now been like 4 days since it happened, and I feel terrible, and I wish I'd have done more, but at the time I didn't know that so many people had been killed and hurt, and I wish I could have gone up there and helped everybody. But in this video I'm gonna put in footage of like images of the arena layout, and I'm gonna draw a map for you exactly where it happened, where the top of the stairs was, because it actually wasn't on the arena grounds, the explosion. Within the train station, you go up a few times up this one set of stairs, and I'm pretty sure it leads into like, it's a foyer where there's like places to eat and stuff, and there's glass doors to go into the actual arena corridor, and the explosion happened just before these doors and these glass doors smashed, and the attacker's body was in the corridor. Parts of him was in the corridor of the arena, and it was just a massive circle of people that had been hurt around him, and the stairs that leaded up was right outside where on the inside where this bomber's body would have been, and some people would have seen that. And I guess at the time, people are coming out now saying they saw a guy that looked suspicious. They could say what this guy was wearing, and he stood out because of what he was wearing, a bright orange shirt with a grey panel down the front. Or it stood out, but it was too late for anyone to say anything, and he was literally in the middle of a crowd of people, and he decided to detonate his bomb. And everyone's asking why. We don't know why. Who knows if he even know why? But he just knew that's what he was going to do, and he did it. And I don't know if he was aiming for the main arena, because I'm pretty sure if he was, there'd have been so many more deaths and injuries and so many more children seeing the horrific scene that was there. And all I can say that is I'm so thankful that he didn't reach the centre. But it's still heartbreaking to what he did to those families. And even for me, I mean, I got out physically unhurt. I found a loved one. We was both safe, and we got out of Manchester. Even for me, being the best in that situation, it hurts. The more I see in the news, the more videos I watch, the video of the bang, the initial bang, the sound, it hurts a lot to hear Ariana's music. It hurts. I feel guilty. It's mentally destroying, and it's just going to take time to get back from what had actually happened. But all I can do is help those who was hurt and who've lost, and just be so thankful how lucky I was on Monday night, because anything could have changed. And I'd just like to say to the people out there who want to comment on these videos saying that they are fake, it is staged, or it's some government conspiracy that the government was involved, don't comment. Keep those opinions to yourself, especially those who are speaking as if they're facts and not opinions, because you are wrong. You was not there. Some of you are not even in this country, and to have such a strong opinion or fact over what had happened, and I'd be so terribly wrong, because you are misinformed, you are hearing the wrong stuff. Just please keep your opinions to yourself. We don't want to hear them. We don't need them. We just need love and support, and that's what we need to send out to everybody.